So, hi everyone, I'm Sophia Beauvoir. I'm a senior creative strategist at ReadySet, where I work on a really diverse portfolio of clients to help scale their accounts and find new winning angles, audiences, and creative. I have 5+ years of experience as a creative strategist. I started out at Common Thread Collective, had experience at Tube Science, and now I'm at ReadySet. So I have a really solid foundation on iteration strategy and scaling D2C accounts. And just to give some context, I work with a really strong team of creative producers, media buyers, editors, designers, client strategy leads to provide a full funnel approach and strategy for our clients that we know can scale. So I'm going to sort of go over how I think about scaling an iteration strategy considering Andromeda, since it's changed pretty drastically over the last year, and it's impacting how creative strategists and ReadySet thinks about iterating and scaling concepts. So this is sort of what scaling and iterating used to look like. You would find a winning ad and you'd change 1 to 2 small elements to find a new winner. There we go. In this example, we just changed the background visual, but kept the product and messaging the same. So this is a concept we're able to continue scaling on, even though these changes were really small. And in this Allbirds example, we found a winning ad. We sort of hypothesized that urgency and social proof messaging would resonate. So all we did was change the headline. So you can see here, we updated the headline to selling out fast, and we found a new winner without changing any major components of the ad. So before Andromeda, we scaled really easily. We were almost guaranteed to find new winners when we iterated on previously proven concepts, just by changing really small elements of the ad, like the hook, for instance. So you could find a winning video, test 4 new hooks, and almost know for certain that you were going to get a new winner out of that iteration. So these are just more examples of other ways we used to be able to change small components of the ads and find new winners. So like opening visuals, copy treatment, voiceover, small copy changes, small visual changes, things like that. When you zoom out, pre-Andromeda, this is what the repeatable process would look like. You'd identify the winning ad, what you think made it work, and then low-hanging fruit would be things like hook and visual tests, copy treatment changes, ad copy, ad headline testing with the same visuals, maybe some footage refreshes with existing footage. And then you would start to invest in higher level or higher lift iterations, like things that would require new footage, new talent, et cetera. So things that would require more like financial investment from the team. So Andromeda is Meta's re-engineered AI retrieval system. So it moved from matching audiences to campaigns to matching individuals to specific creative signals. So creative is no longer what you test, it's the targeting itself. And Andromeda clusters similar ads into a single entity. So running 10 versions of the same image with minor text tweaks isn't the efficient test that it used to be, as the system now would treat them as one retrieval ticket. So because Andromeda rewards meaningful diversity over minor variations, your iteration strategy has to shift from small tweaks to meaningful pivots. So with Andromeda, scaling isn't the same, and neither is creative testing altogether. So we used to be able to create 4 of the same ad, just test 4 new hooks, see which perform best, and go from there, have really clear A/B testing results. But now we have to make concepts really visually distinct in order for the algorithm to consider these ads as different enough to spend against. And the same goes for iterations. You can't just change a hook or opening visual anymore. You have to make larger changes so the algorithm can work for you. So these are some examples of what iterations look like now. You find a winning ad and you make some larger changes. And when you find a winning ad now, you don't necessarily have the clear reasons why that you used to be able to have, because A/B testing isn't as clear with Andromeda. So for this winner, it could be the before and after split screen, it could be the aspirational talent, it could be the value prop messaging. Regardless, it performed, and it's your job to figure out how to scale it. So what we did was do a complete talent and visual refresh using a similar script, just updating shots to match older audience. That way we can take the script learnings from the previous ad and apply it to another potential persona. So in this case, it was like older women, women with gray hair that we wanted to start testing into. And what you start to understand is if the iteration didn't perform, then you can see, okay, is it the script that didn't necessarily cause the positive performance? Maybe it was the talent, for instance, or their delivery. And you can start to see if the new persona also has potential has potential to test into when you start to look at like engagement metrics. So like thumb stop, hold rate, click-through rate, things like that. If you're seeing that engagement, then you can start to say, okay, this older audience is something we want to start testing into. So in this case, the iteration performed really well, and we started to see positive signals that this older audience was worth testing into. And I just say this because I think iterations can be really beneficial to scale an account, but also to find new learnings and potential signals to test into, like new personas and new pain points. So in this earnest example, we did something really similar. We found this messaging work really well and iterated on it with a new persona and new talent. So you start to compound learnings. We understood that the script has potential, but we understood that it worked for a younger recent grad audience that's looking to refinance, but also like a parent audience that's looking to pay off their kids' student loans. And then again, we're iterating with a very similar script, just updating visuals and also using it as an opportunity to test into new personas. You can always just refresh talent or footage if you'd like, but I really like to test into personas as often as I can, so I can see what potential audiences are out there that we're not currently targeting, and if there's any gaps that we can fill in our creative strategy. So some levers to scale meaningfully with Andromeda. Definitely visual refreshes where you either use existing or new footage to replace current shots in the ad. Talent refreshes where you swap talent throughout. And then you can also test single talent variations versus multi-talent variations. And once you get learnings from that, you can iterate further. Like if you see that one talent outperforms all the rest, then you can iterate from there. Or if you see that like mashups of a multiple talent perform really well, then that's a good learning to have too. So these are all examples of finding winning messaging in an ad and replicating it with new talent to find a new winner. So in this example, we found a winner and we just got another couple to get the same shot. So we recreated the ad with new talent and just secured a new top performer really easily. And then the same goes for this example. We used the exact same script and just got a new talent to refresh the creative. And so once you start to see repeat success with messaging across different talent and different footage, you can start to build a strong footage library that reflects messaging that you know works. So for this example on the left, I can make sure that anytime we work with a couple, we request a shot of them dancing. So we can refresh this concept as many times as we can before it fatigues. And you start to build a footage library that allows you to refresh creative on a consistent basis, and a library that's based on account learnings. So you can also use mashups from previous top performers. So say you had one ad with a really strong thumb stop, but not a strong conversion rate or a strong CPA. And then you had an ad with terrible thumb stop, but decent click-through rate and conversion rate. You could combine those winning elements of each ad to see if that iterative sort of super ad performs better. So that's also like another common way to iterate considering Andromeda. And then most people think that with Andromeda, you can only make visual adjustments in order to spend, but there are other meaningful elements of an ad that can help the algorithm differentiate it from other ads in the account. For example, like persona testing, pain point testing. The same goes for larger copy changes, like the entire body of an ad or like an on-ramp. So just want to note that you don't only need to make visual changes to an ad in order for the algorithm to distinguish it from the other ads in the account. And then one thing I'd keep in mind is visual format testing. So say you have a validated message that you know works, you want to scale that across multiple formats and see what performs best. So that might look like testing more branded imagery versus native imagery, or static versus video versus carousel, that kind of thing, because you want to keep validating that messaging over multiple formats. So these are examples of finding a winning message and replicating it across new formats to scale. So the first one, we replicated an animated GIF to UGC. And the second one, we replicated a UGC green screen to an animated toggle. I'll give it a second to sort of show all of the creative. But this was just a way, like we found validated messaging, what's a way that we can adjust it slightly, but in a new creative format to keep scaling and still maintain creative diversity, because that's what Andromeda rewards. So after a while, when you zoom out and look back on account performance, you create entire ad families that are all based on one winning ad. And everything you continue to create is formed is informed by previous performance and winners. So once a base ad finds a responsive pocket in the algorithm, you don't just let it run, you build a family of ads around it to prevent creative fatigue. And ideally, you'd scale by creating multiple ad families, entire branches of content based on winning concepts, personas, desire, or awareness level. So again, not just leaning on, talent refreshes, but things like awareness level, personas, pain points, things like that. And then, once you create one ad family, you're trying to make new standalone ads that can create their own ad families beyond that. So when you zoom out, this is sort of the repeatable process. It looks very similar to pre-Andromeda, but the elements look a little bit different. So you identify a winning ad, what makes it work, etc. But post-Andromeda, the easy scales look different. So with Andromeda, minor changes like a hook change or an opening visual change may not feed the AI enough variety to find a new user pocket. So instead, you can try things like refreshing visuals with existing footage, testing new formats with the same messaging, testing lengths of videos, testing new orders of messaging, all things that you can do with the existing resources your team has. And then once you've exhausted your options on low-hanging fruit, you go into an expansion phase and the process of doing higher lift iterations. So now that looks like getting new footage from new talent, testing new formats that maybe require specific design expertise. The higher lift iterations require meaningful variation. So it should involve like new talent, different backgrounds, or entirely different narrative structures. So you're maintaining what made the original ad work, but making sure you're making meaningful pivots in the iterations. And you can also take your learnings and apply it to something new, like a new persona, new pain point, like I mentioned before. And the goal is to not just keep iterating on the same ad over and over, because then you get to a point where all the ads start to look the same. But you actually want to start producing new standalone ads that can produce valuable learnings for your team. Something else I wanted to touch on was like KPIs to consider during Andromeda learning phase too. So outside of just looking at ROAS and CPA, these metrics can give you early insights into an ad's performance during the learning phase. So hook rate and hold rate are becoming a lot more important now. So if people scroll past, the algorithm actually predicts fatigue before it even happens and limits delivery. So focus a lot of intentional effort on the opening 3 seconds of an ad, especially in your iterations. And then using spend as like a feedback loop. So if an ad doesn't spend, it's not necessarily a rejection. It's the algorithm telling you it can't find a responsive pocket for that specific creative signal. So you need to potentially change the way you're targeting that audience or move on to another persona that maybe is taking up a larger percentage of the market. And then, basically you get to a place in this process where even your net new concepts start to feel like some type of iteration, because every concept you make still keeps in mind learnings from past top performers and iterations you've made in the past. So this does not mean every ad looks the same. It just means that you're data-driven with your decisions and you're not letting valuable learnings fall through the cracks. Instead, you're forming a creative system that allows you to compound learnings and continue to scale. So that's really what we try and create at ReadySet for all of our clients. And that is pretty much it. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm looking forward to answering any questions you may have. And I'll answer any questions in the chat too.
Sophia, crushed it. I feel like we've been talking about creative so much in this course, and then you came through and it's like, okay, creative, yes, got to get that right. Apply all these techniques that you shared. Also understand the metrics and algorithm. Like it's equally as important to marry them together. So everybody, show love in the chat. Get those questions into the Q&A tab because we're going to bring Sophia up at the end of this, and then we're going to be able to get questions going for all 3 of our speakers today. So with that said, would love to welcome our next speaker to the stage. We have Viti, who's joining us from Happy Mammoth. So everybody, another round of applause, please.
Hello, Ivan. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's a pleasure, of course, to share all this stuff that we are going to see in the next minutes with you. So let me share my screen. And after I do this, I will go on blind with you. I'm not going to see the chat or your messages, so I will hopefully see them later. Let me see. Yes, we are here. Okay. So I'm gonna go full screen. And yes. So, hello everyone, I'm Viti. I've been working at the advertising industry for a long time, like 8 years in a traditional creative director position, like work for brands, big brands on the branding side, like Coke, Unilever, Burger, Nokia. And then I've been working as a creative strategist for 6 years. I started in Reddit as well. Then I moved into Madambao, and right now I'm the senior creative lead at Happy Mammoth, and I'm from Argentina, and I'm based in Barcelona. So I will divide my presentation into 2 moments. I know that we are just in the part of the exploit, where we just make as many ads as we can from just 1 winner or 2 winners or whatever. But I would like to go 1 step backward, because I would like to talk a little bit about exploring, because I've seen like a lot of creative strategies that are super focused on like getting trends, watching competitors, getting data and all the stuff. But at the moment when we need to make an ad from scratch, it's not so easy, and we tend to copy. I know that we are living in an era where everything is a remix, everything is a copy from a copy from a copy. But I would like to show you how to think ideas and not just to have them. This is crucial because I believe that, I don't know if you all watches this movie, it's Talladega Nights, and it's they have this funny phrase that is, if you're in first, you're last. And you know, in the movie they were arguing because it's not real at one point, but I think that it has some truth in the way that if we are copying an ad from another brand, company, or something that we see, and we don't make the ad like original or itself, then it will probably won't be as good as we have something that it's ours, and then everyone is trying to copy us. So some things regarding this. We tend to believe that creativity is talent, that ideas come from inspiration, that you have to be born creative, or they are genius or whatever. But the truth is that everyone can be creative, and creativity, in fact, is like a mechanical process. You only need to practice on this. Producing ideas in this way, it's only no more or less than a combination of all elements that you have. And that capacity depends on the ability that you have to see those relationships. And we can say that creativity is seeing connections where others don't see them. Let's move forward into this. There was a guy called James Webb Young. He made a book that it's called A Technique for Producing Ideas, that is quite old. It was for traditional advertising. And he developed a 5-step process. I think that for now, it can be like a 4-step process, and where you can understand what is the process of having an idea. First one is we gather. We have inputs, reviews. Well, we have all the raw data that we can just pick and work with that. And we have 2 kinds, specific and general. And then we have the work. Is the ability to connect these dots and to make the new combinations. Then we have the eureka, the shower moment, where the idea appears. And at the end, well, we need to produce the idea, no? The development or the execution, where we refine and reward this. So on the step 1, this is I would say, I mean, we've seen this through many people, that if the most important thing is to just gather your information, you know, the raw material. It can be specific or it can be general. Specific, we can say that it's product, brand, and the customer, and then we have the general knowledge, that is culture, psychology, life events, random curiosity, memes, whatever. If you don't explore enough, you know, you're gonna land on generic ads. So just keep in mind, of course, you already know this, but this is super crucial to have original ideas. This is another step that is also super important, that is work the material, that is the mental mashup. how do you start connecting dots? You start connecting like to make relationships. I put here force because sometimes the relationships are not just linear; they're just I don't know how to make. But I got two examples for you to understand this. For example, we have a magnesium product, and we can say that the specific information that we have is that the magnesium reduces anxiety. That is true. That is something that the product does. And then we have the general information that is, for example, the brain tabs open meme, or it's something that probably many of you have in your computers. You know, you have like a lot of tabs open. So you have an idea here where you combine those two pieces of information, the specific and the general. And you have, for example, your brain has 47 tabs open, magnesium closes them all at once. This is not a generic headline. You can have like something, you know, like only this product reduces anxiety and that's it. But if you go one step forward, you will have something that is unique. Then we have example number 2, gut health. You have, again, specific information. Pain point that is the bloating. And then you have the general information that is the hangover regret, you know, when you text your ex or something like that. So, idea, your stomach the morning after pasta is the same that texting your ex, something like that. I know that maybe you can have better ideas, and this gets better and better after you practice and after you go and you move forward into more and more combinations, because this is where most creatives stop too early. You know, you have just one idea and you produce the idea and that's it. And maybe you need to gather 1, 2, 5, 10, and so on, just to find out something that is really, really unique. Here we can see the examples. You know, we have the generic ad with the magnesium. Magnesium helps you relax and sleep better. And then we have the one with the dots connected, where it's your brain has 37 tabs open, magnesium closes them all. You can see the difference. And then again, for bloating, this formula reduces bloating. This is the generic level. And then we have the stop planning your outfit around your stomach. So you can train this. You can just, this is only getting information, connecting things, and moving forward. This is a nice chart. I think that it can be larger, but there's some categories of questions you can give yourself to generate ideas. You have analogic questions, opposite, emotional, specific, cultural. I'm not gonna go deeper on this, but with these questions that you're asking, you can have the example and you have the idea of where from and where you can go from information and what is your output having a new idea. You can screenshot this slide, or later you can watch it on the review. Again, we have analogy, opposite thinking, emotional reframing, and you can see here how we developed a happy mammoth. This, for example, the 3 kind of questions that you ask. One, you are making a metaphor of a balloon, you know, when you are bloated or when you have like a beer belly or whatever. So we got that on the design and as well on some callouts. Then we have the opposite thinking, that people believe that they're fat, but maybe they're not fat. It's just cortisol. And we got the idea to perform this ad as well. And then the emotional reframing, that again, menopause made me feel like I was disappearing. So we are touching a fiber on what's going on with people and menopause with that product. So step number 4. Sorry, I think that this is number 3, but I missed to change the number. The idea hits, and it's the eureka moment. This may happen when you're working, when you're just connecting the dots. This may happen when you're having a shower. That's why they call it the shower moment as well. And there are some keys for you to know that you have a good idea, that somehow it feels true, you know, like you feel that headline or idea or ad that you are just thinking about. It feels super true based on your products and your information that you have. Probably this is the insight, make someone say, okay, yeah, that's me. That's the best thing that you can have, because you will keep your audience engaged if you find that. Then it's specific, it's not generic, it's not something that everyone can say. It's something that you can only say, or at least the way you made that idea. And then the angle is fresh. It's not a better claim. So it's something that it's new. It's something that feels like original in some way. Last thing, shape and adapt. This is about execution, because execution can kill a good idea. So it's time now that we have the idea to turn it into the real world. And we may ask a couple of questions also in this step as well. For example, is this the best talent to use? Is this the best format to design to gather that idea? Is this the best script, or is this the best ad? Is this the best the ad can go? So another thing that you can do, you can just throw the idea into your team and see what it happens. If you find that ad has like self-expanding qualities, then you are in a good path as well. A quick example of bad versus good execution. You probably find out, and I'm sorry, Barry, I don't have nothing against the ugly ads, but in this case, they were not just about the design thing. It was just how the elements were put inside the ad, like the colors were too small. We didn't get a timeline what was talking about, or it was not clear enough. Again, the headline, maybe it was like a little bit confusing, and that's it. But again, execution sometimes kills idea. Of course, we never know, because this is like testing and see how it goes. But if something didn't work, you can just try it again, like having like a better output to see how it goes. So this is a statement. I think that the difference between a junior and senior creative is not about the talent. It's the size, the speed, and the quality of the combinations that they can make. If you can make combinations better, faster, and bigger, then you will be a superstar for sure. So now going into the exploit part. This is I would like to show like in some slides how we do at Happy Mammoth. We produce like mostly between 500 ads per week, and we have like a really nice machine to produce those ads, and yeah, I will share with you some tips and tricks if you want to do the same, and if you have the ability and capacity to run that many amount of ads. Okay, so what's the winner ad? We all know we need to have like a stable CPA, a strong CTR, hook rate. We need to make the ad run across many audiences, engagement, healthy ROAS, and of course, spend picking up. But this is something that can help you not to, not to be lost in the when you start having new ideas. I think that statics is the best way to start testing angles, because this is the fastest way to produce something. You can just put a product picture there, a headline, gather as many angles as you have, and you can just of course having different designs or whatever, but just the product with the headline, and you can just run that. If that works, you can move into a video, maybe short form video, 15 seconds or something with text overlay or voiceover video, where you can expand, you can expand that angle and see if it keeps working. And of course, if you have success on that, you can just jump and make high production, testimonials, long form ads, sales, video sales, or whatever. But you know that the angle probably won't fail, because it already did on 2 stages before. So why is this ad working? I'm gonna play this ad first, so we all see it. Okay, so this ad was like a massive winner last year for us. And I think that in some way, you don't scale the ad, you scale the mechanism. So you need to first break it down into the components. Let's say the hook in this ad this is what happens. So you're getting the persona when a 60-year-old, 40-year-old man with kids. So you can try different iterations there as well. Then you have the angle. In this case, is super focused on weight loss with a proof on that, with many talents. Then we have the format, that in this case is a voiceover testimonial, and then we have the emotional driver that it's the insecurity with the hope and relief. You know, like how someone find this product and it worked for her. So once we have this section of your ad, then it's time for the scaling. You know, this is 80% of scaling, and you can try as many I would say iterations or things as you want. You know, you can try different hooks, both visual and copy. You can try same script, different creators, different scripts, same creators, same structure, same concept, different format. You can play with this. I mean, we are just talking about a winner ad, something that you know, check all the metrics, CTR, CPA, hook, whole rate, whatever. So if you have that super winner in your hands, you should try everything and as many as you can. It depends a lot on the budget and the company size. I think that a nice spot is between 3 and 5 batches, you know, with 4 or 5 ads, or 3 ads inside each batch. But you can tell. So I will show you the second iteration that we made from the previous ad. So in this case, as you can see, we changed a lot of things. We changed the product at first. We changed the hook. We changed the talent. We changed a little bit on the structure. We changed the bureaus. So this is let's say a completely new ad, but it's keeping the same angle. It's keeping the same spirit of the first one. So as Sophia said, iterations look like a completely new ad right now. And this is, you know, what happens when you just gather all this together and try to put them work together. Don't stop on slightly changes. Just, you know, you will have the same ad or the same results. Just go further and try to perform something that looks super different, but in the backstage is like the same. So then you test and scale. I will show you how we also even iterate more and more and more of this winner ad, so you can see the difference as we did in the past.
Viti.
Yeah.
Quick, are you able to share the tab? The audience can't hear the sound, so just try to tap in with.
Let me see.
Amazing, appreciate it, man.
Do you want me to share again?
Yeah, share with the tab, and then that should let you play with the sound.
Okay. So
See if that works.
This is what happens when
it's working.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's go again.
This is what happens when a 48-year-old woman takes hormone harmony to lose the cortisol weight. I didn't keep track of every calorie. I didn't work out every day, and my life didn't get any less stressed, but I did take hormone harmony every morning. And that's when the weight finally started to come off. And not just water weight, like fat actually melting off my body. My waist came back. My arms looked sculpted, and my face looked snatched. I'm sleeping better. My energy's back. My mood is lighter. And my favorite jeans aren't hiding in the back of the closet anymore. I didn't think I could ever feel this good in my body, especially after 2 kids. But at 48, I feel and look better than I ever did. And it's all thanks to the powerful adaptogens inside hormone harmony, like ashwagandha and rhodiola that lower cortisol levels naturally. So that stress weight stops going right to your midsection and starts melting off your body, even if you're a busy mom pushing 50 like me. So my advice, give hormone harmony a try. We have a 60-day guarantee. Worst case, you get your money back. Best case, you get your old self back.
Second one.
I'm 50, and here's what happened when I tried this to lose weight. I didn't count a single step, didn't cut carbs. I just took these capsules every morning with my coffee, and now I fit in clothes I haven't worn in 20 years. And this isn't water weight, it's real fat being flushed out of my system. My double chin is shrinking and my face looks snatched. My arms feel more sculpted. My energy is off the charts. And I got my hourglass figure back. The reason Ultimate Weight Loss Support works so fast is because it combines the most recent and cutting-edge fat-melting ingredients on the planet that target the real root cause of female weight gain after 40, block new fat cells from forming, rev up metabolism. So the body shrinks down on its own, even if you're a 52-year-old mother of 3 like me. So my advice? Try it for yourself. It even comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose.
And last one.
This is what happens when a 47-year-old woman takes prebiotic collagen protein to lose her beer belly. I didn't cut carbs or obsess over macros, and I didn't do sit-ups till I passed out either. I just put prebiotic collagen protein in my coffee every morning. It's so tasty, and the weight started to melt off me. My bloat went way down too. Now my jeans fit without a struggle. I can button shirts that used to squeeze the life out of me, and I can't wait to wear a bikini to the beach. I'm 47, and I look better than I had in years, and it's all thanks to the science-backed ingredients inside prebiotic collagen protein that heal the gut and get your digestion back on track, so that stubborn belly fat and bloating finally go bye-bye for good, even for a woman pushing 50 like me. So do yourself a favor, give prebiotic collagen protein a try. It comes with a 60-day guarantee, so there's nothing to lose except the uncomfortable belly bloat that makes you feel 6 months pregnant.
So you can see that we have 3 different products. We have, like, the structure is mostly the same, but we change everything to adapt the product, and we change the B-rolls, we change the talent, but the format is the same. It's a voiceover video. It mostly starts with the same hook, copy hook at least, and also the end. You know, it's if you feel them separately, it's like a unique ad, but if you watch them together, you can tell that, yes, of course, we find a concept, and these 3 were winners for us last year. So this is something that you should keep in mind. When you find something, just go go further and try to iterate as much as you can, because this is your starting point. Cheat code. This is something that we add to our sheets, and I'm not able to share all the complete sheet, but at least we made this kind of color tags where we can just quickly identify if we need a bigger swings or if we need a smaller swings. When we have like a massive winner, we just go on green and we just make things that probably make the bigger swings, like change the creator, change the product, change the script. I mean, not the structure, but the script, change the gender, or maybe accent or B-rolls. But if we have a scale ad that is an ad that is doing great, but not as great as the green one, then we can have like a smaller swings to first find out if it has the capability to be a green, you know, like a super massive or breakthrough ad. So you can add these tags and you can just put them side your ads or your tracking list and easily make those iterations. So this is a kind of statement. I think that most brands don't have like a scaling problem. They have like a creative iteration problem. They don't know how to iterate properly and how to make these swings thinking on the sides of the ads. And finally, when your winner ad fatigues or all your iterations are not working, then you need to refresh it. And this is even bigger swings. And to think about this is just like Terminator or 1 and 2, you know, like thinking on a version 2 of your winner ad. You start again, but having an order. You make a new script with new hooks, new visuals, but the core, the soul itself, it should feel like your previous winner ad. So let me show you this one that is completely AI made.
This is what happens when a middle-aged woman ignores diets and workouts and optimizes her hormones. First, you feel less bloated, then your cravings calm down. After that, your belly shrinks and your friends ask what you're doing. Here's a simple, natural hormone optimizing protocol that adapts to your body's unique needs. It takes 30 seconds each morning. No dieting, no gym, no food lists. You can do it at home every day.
What happens if I start tomorrow? How old are you? I'm 47. By next month, you might not recognize your waistline. But what if nothing has worked for me before? That's exactly who this was built for. This method fixes your unique hormonal imbalances first.
Isn't eating less and working out enough?
After 40, that disrupts your hormones even more. You need the opposite to burn fat again.
Do I need supplements or complicated plans?
Hormone Harmony. Take it once a day. Let its ingredients optimize your unique hormonal imbalances and watch your body change.
So how do I start?
Click the link and start right now.
So it doesn't feel like the same ad as we see previously, but it has some clues or some, you know, like insight from the first one, and we turn it into a completely new ad and, well, start picking it up again. So we have this creative scaling engine. I tried to put those together in this kind of graphic, but I mean, we have like this kind of 7 steps where we find the winner. Then we deconstruct it with the hook, angle, format, emotion, what we talk about. Then we multiply that. We create as many as we can. As I said, I think that between 3-5 batches, it's good. Depends on how you run your ads as well. Then you test fast. You scale those ads, that the ones that are doing well. The others just teach them. And when it fatigues, we refresh the ad completely, and we will probably find a new winner again. So, as I told you, your winner ad is in the finish line. It's the blueprint for your next 20 ads and hopefully 20 winners. And that's it.
Round of applause, everybody. I love that we got the audio sorted. Everyone's happy about that. But Viti, I love the idea of strategy and execution. So it's like strategy, you could get all of that right, but if you don't execute well, it's almost to waste. And like calling that out is super powerful. Super
It happens.
powerful.
Yeah, it happens more than you think. You know, we saw like a lot of ads that were not working, and I was just, why? This angle was super powerful, and it was all on the execution. So yeah, it's
Oh
something
my
to.
goodness.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. Okay, everybody, show some love in the chat from VT. Get your questions in because we're going to bring them back up at the end of this presentation to get into it. But now, last but of course, and especially not least, we have the wonderful Janae to welcome to the stage. So everybody throw some love in the chat.
Everyone.
Amazing, Janae.
It was so good. I loved learning about Post-Andromeda, and I loved learning about how to be creative in this age of AI. So I'm super excited to talk to everyone today about how Caraway works on the UGC creator program. So just to give you guys a little bit about me, I'm Janae LeVander. Thumbs up if you can see this. Cool, cool. I'm Janae LeVander. I'm the Senior Manager of Performance Creative at Caraway. I've been in D2C marketing for 11 years, working at big brands, D2C brands like Caraway, Sonos, and Tom's. And I'm super excited to be here today to talk to you about our really massive, robust UGC program. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, just going to ground you in like how this program is and how we're able to scale it. So we have over 300, almost 360 ads that went live in 2026 alone, year to date, UGC only. This is on average over a 2.14x ROAS. So if we're looking on a monthly scale, we have around 115 UGC ads per month, over 200 a month during Black Friday. And the amount of ads that we launch per month is probably around 40 new UGC ads per month. And in BFCM, 60 new UGC ads per month. So that's per creator, per video, per persona. It's just like a massive engine that really needs a lot of infrastructure and systems in order to make that work. So I'm hoping today to give you with some really concrete examples on how you can implement maybe some of these ideas to build a UGC program yourselves. So first off, team structure. So at Caraway, as a creative strategist, you really have to be working very closely with multiple different teams, but for UGC programs specifically, you really have to rely on these specialized skills from your other teammates. So performance creative is everyone here, right? We're going to be briefing the strategy, we're going to be concepting, we're going to do all the things that we've learned in this boot camp, but you're not going to be able to do a lot of these things without some experts in the field. So at Caraway, we rely heavily on our influencer team. So this team is able to source and vet creators and kind of manage that early part of the program before it hits me. So before anything else, they make the pool of creators, and then I go to them and kind of say, this is what I'm looking for, or here's my brief, etc. So we also need to link very closely with the media buying team. So the growth team, little backstory about me, I was on the growth side of things before I became a creative strategist. So making sure that you know how to get those real-time performance data metrics and partner on the priorities and make sure that your priorities are not just coming from instinct or what you see in the wild, but really how the channel's performing and what the channel needs. Once everyone kind of has this symbiosis, kumbaya, working together, then you're able to get speed and quality at the same time. Next up, I wanted to talk about creator selection. So how do we choose creators? And no matter what, the right creators are always going to be better than more creators. So at Caraway, what we do is majority of our creator pool is kind of our core persona and retainers. So these are creators who kind of match our highest converting existing personas. They maybe have a content style that already resonates with our audience. And it's kind of this reliability baseline that we can invest in the most, we can have the most investment here and know that our return is going to be pretty good. However, there's always important, even more so post-Andromeda, to have this expansion of new personas. So maybe they're slightly outside of our core persona. They have fresh perspective. They are going to open up new audiences, or maybe, and even more so what I'm doing currently is like doubling down on niches. So taking it one step further. It's not just a gym person or somebody that's healthy and works out. It's a person that is a biohacker and that focuses on macros. Even more, the more specific you can get, we found is kind of going to be the new day and age of today. So sourcing is a very important skill. And so you want to make sure that you get the best content possible so you're not stuck with unusable content. Okay, and then I wanted to go into the briefing strategy. So how we decide what to brief. So initially, I like to think of it in like content buckets. So I'm looking at, and this is obviously tailored for your specific brand. So first up, we have our evergreen kind of BAU core themes that are refreshed often. This is kind of what we've been talking about a lot. Like, what are some ideas we want to put in? What's maybe some BAU ideas that are just tried and true. Then we want to look at product launches. So depending on your brand, you may or may not have seasonal product launches. And then lastly would be seasonal pushes or brand specific. Maybe you have Mother's Day campaigns coming up, Father's Day campaigns. So I like to think of my briefing in those three areas. And the evergreen and BAU is where you can get very crafty and like kind of get scrappy and have these creative new ideas. And then I like to ask myself maybe some research steps. So what worked last year? What data can I pull from last year? What's working in the wild? What are some organic trends, customer signals, using tools like Motion, Foreplay, Atria? These are all tools for competitive tracking to see what's really out there and what I want to test. And then what's our hypothesis? So why do we think this worked? Do we have a big conviction on this? And how does this all fit into our entire system? From there, we can go into concepting. So this is before we get to the brief template, kind of similar to the homework this week, we like to first discover our concept and really ground ourselves if this is something we want to invest in. So for the example, I'm going to do a negative hook, and this is the exact concept formula that we use for all of our concepts. So starting with the concept title, then going into the angle of why this works. So here's where you put like, is this social proof? Is this problem solution? Why do we think this is going to work? And what is it actually saying to people? Number 3 is the creative guardrails. So maybe you're thinking, I want this to be deadpan delivery. I want kind of comedic. I want sarcastic drawbacks that are framed as benefits or other way around, and making sure that it's kind of planned out in advance a little bit. And then most importantly is probably going to be objection handling. So I want to know what would make them object? What is something that would, maybe they think it's too expensive? Well, then we're going to reframe that in the brief automatically and say, it's too expensive because it's not cheap. And that's why I wanted to invest in something that I knew would last. So kind of immediately thinking about what are the objections of this brief, or maybe playing devil's advocate with yourself a bit so that you can make the brief stronger from the jump. And then I also like to include hooks at the very beginning of the concept, because automatically, like the hook, as everyone knows, is the most important part of all ads. So I need to be thinking about them in the concept phase before going into the brief template to even give myself an idea of, is this worth a shot? Okay, and then this is the juiciest slide, so definitely feel free to screenshot this one. This is our actual brief template that we use and broken down of what's included and why it matters. So a great brief does half of the creative work. So I am in the team of very, very detailed briefs at Caraway. In order for us to have all these different briefs come through, working with hundreds and hundreds of different creators, I prefer to have a brief that's extremely detailed. And so these are all the things that I like to include and why I think they're so crucial and important. From the top, we're going to include an overview. So this is theme, this is brand guidelines, product length, and kind of just like basic questions from the top, like, here you guys go, here's what you need to know. Number 2 is filming guidelines. So this is really important. Maybe if you're just getting started working with newer creators, we need to give them camera settings. We need to give them framing, lighting, pacing, maybe with some visual examples to really make sure that that content is at the quality that you guys want. Next up is deliverables or upload list, making it really easy for them to upload into the place that you want. This saves you a ton of time and your editors tons of time to make sure that we get the content that we need and make sure it's all organized from the jump. Next up is going to be UGC examples. So make sure that these are very high performing reference examples that give them extra details that needed. So let's say you just put in a link, don't just drop the link in there. Maybe you go and put like, I love the way she started this, or I love how she put the pan. Give them a little bit extra details, because I'm telling you, the creators are most likely looking at the examples. Like they're going to look at those examples and they're going to take, they're pretty visual. And so you're going to want to give them a little bit extra there to call out so you don't miss out on getting something that you really want and need. And so we can't assume that they know off the bat that they're what you're looking for. So just go ahead and make that super explicit. Next up is the hooks and CTAs. Always want to include a couple of variations and make sure those are sent over. And then the voiceover script. So some strategists like to kind of give a little bit more creative freedom to their creators, but I like to include a reference script with every single brief just to give them an idea, a vibe, and still allow that creative freedom. So I like to tailor it specifically to them, but at the same time, like I need to give them a jumping off point. And as you start to have relationships with creators, and maybe some of them turn into retainers, you'll start to know, oh, this person takes my scripts word for word, so maybe I need to put in a little extra variation here, or this person, I know that they're going to kind of take this and make it their own. Next up is going to be brand talking points. So this is just kind of rounding out, like maybe this is like the bonus or extra section, but this would be like theme, product, brand call out. So let's make sure that we don't rely on a creator going to our website to look at different value props, that we just put it in the brief already so that they have this one-stop shop to find everything that they need in one place. And then lastly is shot list. So this is pretty self-explanatory. This is going to be everything that we want and in a checklist format. And then I like to include like mandatory and optional notes just to, again, make it very black and white, very clear, like mandatory shot, I need you to hold the product in hand in the hook, or optional shot if you have a family member or a friend that you want to throw in the video, that would be cool too. Awesome. After that, I go into customization, which I'm kind of alluding to here a little bit. So why generic briefs fail and how to customize them. Again, I have to hit home on this one. You really have to study the creator's style. So you have to look at, are they educational? Are they aesthetic? Are they comedic? Don't force creators into your brief. Your top performing template is not right for every creator. So really just like set that in and match the brief to their natural tone. So how are you going to do that? You're going to adapt the concept, and it can be the same concept with a different execution. So maybe the comedic creator gets something deadpan, sarcastic. Maybe the aesthetic creator gets more of a minimalist, ASMR, lifestyle. And then lastly would be refresh often. Let's say you found it, this is like your star brief and it's working well and you're adapting it, but let's make sure that you're constantly updating those hooks, swapping out new examples, putting in maybe some current winners, because stale briefs, no matter what, are going to produce stale content, even from great producers. So this brief right here that I'm going to be giving to this creator is going to be a bit different than maybe the brief that I give to this creator. It's just a little bit more aesthetic, minimalism. And so small edits can make a really big difference for a parent versus someone that's more of a lifestyle creator. Okay, next up, I'm just going to go into a case study. So this is a video, and let's go ahead and watch it.
Here are 4 reasons why not to buy Caraway food storage. Number 1, if you enjoy fridge chaos, do not buy these. Everything stacks perfectly, the lids actually match, and suddenly your fridge looks calm. It is very unsettling. Number 2, if you like wondering whether your leftovers are absorbing plastic, just skip these altogether. They're ceramic coated and non-toxic, so it takes all the excitement out of meal prep. Number 3, if soggy leftovers are your thing, these will disappoint you. The air release lids keep my food fresh. Yes, even the fish. I hate when things work. And number 4, if you prefer hiding your containers in a messy drawer, more. Absolutely do not buy these. They're way too pretty and the colors actually match my kitchen. So yeah, if you're into messy kitchens and fridge chaos, then Caraway's not for you.
So I wanted to include this one because this was one of our, it's a tried and true format. Everyone's kind of heard of Negative Hook, but we made it our own through this reverse psychology. And it ended up being one of our top ads in 2026. This one concept we were able to iterate, and it was scroll stopping. I did include the TikTok version for you guys. So this says apps, this is clean. There's no caption, no text overlay, because that's how we run most things on TikTok. So I wanted to get the baseline here and really just show like, what is the content? Like, this is what the creator can send back to us. And so having these kind of very detailed briefs were able to get us these results. And then, so what do we do from there? After you get that winning ad and winning idea, we turn that one concept into multiple iterations. And that's what a lot of the people have been talking about here today. So winning scripts deserve multiple lives. And how do we do that? We're going to look at products. So in the bottom left one, they have different product focus, working on different hooks, editing styles, personas, and really just finding new ways to have Andromeda and Meta view this as a completely different ad so it doesn't get lumped together. So not only was that ad like our #1 ad, but also the iterations of it are also working really well. Negative Hook is also just something that's like very Andromeda positive, like kind of giving that friction at the top is just a solid concept. So I'm going to be leaning into that style a bit more as well. And then these are 8 briefing mistakes that will kill your UGC program. So I'm just going to rapid fire some of these mistakes that I've learned over the 11 years of being in the business that you can take away now. Number 1, siloing from media buyers. So media buyers really, really know the channel. And so you have to have regular syncs with your media buyers, with your CX team to get in the know about what's working on the channel. But at the same time, mistake number 2, you don't want to say yes to every single idea that comes through. Leadership, other people can have these suggestions that maybe don't have the strategic rationale of what you're hired for, of what you're learning right now. So really trust your instincts and evaluate every request that comes through against your calendar, against data, and against priorities. And don't be afraid to say no and revisit later. Number 3, not reading scripts out loud. So voiceover can read really clunky if you're just throwing it in from AI. You have to read it out loud every single time. And I will not send a brief without saying it out loud. Number 4 is using marketing jargon within the UGC brief. This is not going to an agency. This isn't going to your internal team. This is going to a creator and maybe the creator influencer team. So you need to write like you're talking to a friend. Instead of saying demonstrate product value props above, you need to keep it simple with show how easy it is to clean the pan. Like just really keep it simple and stay away from that jargon. Number 5, yep, I can count, is vague editor briefs. We've already kind of honed in on that one a lot. So using reference examples, style specs, like getting really in the nitty gritty there. Number 6 is weak contracts. So this isn't my team. This is usually the influencer team, but a lot of people here are kind of solo entrepreneurs. So with your contracts, make sure you're paying attention to reshoot clauses. You don't want to be stuck with missing deliverables. You want to make sure that you specify mandatory elements up front so that if you are missing something, it will require them to reshoot and that you're not left empty-handed, especially with hooks. Okay, and so this is for maybe some of the people that are just getting started. If you're building your UGC program or maybe you're just starting out, where do we go from here? So I would say week 1, audit your marketing calendar, kind of identify what are some priority buckets, what are some priority initiatives that are within your brand, your company. Number 2, ask your media buyer, in many cases yourselves, what's fatiguing? What do we need more of? Grab some motion reports, see what the gaps are. Week 3, build your concept and your UGC brief and test it with unique creator personas, kind of like what Sophia was saying, like make sure that they're all unique people. Week 4, analyze performance on motion. find your first winner and then iterate off of there, and then choose from anything. Maybe you want to iterate a product, maybe you want to iterate a persona or a hook. Get that low-hanging fruit and you'll be off to the races. And that is it. Thank you. If anyone wants to connect, feel free.
Everybody, give it up for Janae. Connect. See the LinkedIn there. See her on Slack. All the places to connect. But throw a round of applause into the chat. That was absolutely incredible. And if we can, let's bring all our speakers back up to the stage, and then we can get to some of the Q&A that's popped in. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I think it's only right that we kick off with the UGC style question, since that's where we ended. So one of the questions that came up earlier was related to iterations from Rachel. So we can, Rachel asked, how do you find UGC creators to make these iterations? So iterations is one thing, but I think in general, there's been a lot of questions about how are you finding the UGC creators you're working with? So Janae, maybe you can kick us off.
Yeah, so this is where for Caraway, the big team structure comes into play. So we are finding them through our seeding program, our ambassador program. That's all run through a different leg, different muscle of the company from the influencer team. There are other ways that you can reach out to creators though. So finding them out in the wild, finding them out on your feeds. I know there's specific programs that kind of, and companies that even house them, but we're kind of doing it all piecemeal, like one by one, and just working directly with the creators and not a creator agency. That gives you a little bit more agency over your content yourself, because you're kind of working on a one-on-one representation rather than working with a larger influencer agency.
Amazing. And Viti, on your end, at Happy Mammoth, how are things going down?
Same. We use Backstage, but we also have like, we have one producer that it's always looking on different platforms, different influencers. We are lately working a lot with partnership ads, and we are just trying to find out people that resonated with our audiences, and from then we can not also make some content for both channels, but maybe later we can just make some ads with them from us.
Amazing. And then Sophia, on your end, agency-wise, how does it shake out?
Yeah, so we have a talent and production team. So the talent team will like source creators, influencers, and then I will write like a footage request or a footage sort of brief that goes through like a shot list of the things I want to get. And then I work with like a creative producer to do that though. And then, yeah, the talent team sort of handles the talent sourcing, the briefing stage for them, and then like any contract things, they sort of handle that.
Cool. And quick follow-up for all of you. For a lot of brands who are getting started out, smaller teams and capacity there, the creator work or activating your customer base, you think that should fall to the creative strategist? Does it fall to CX? Who do you guys think that should fall to? Janae, I'll throw it to you first, and then if anyone wants to jump in after, we can go from there.
I'm not sure. I'd actually want to hear what Sophia says, because she you work with so many different brands. So like from the agency POV.
Yeah, and I've been on both sides. So I've been on like a smaller agency where I've had to be the person to like source creators and then also write all the briefs and like do everything on that side. And then I've been on the Ready Set side where we have like a full team that is dedicated to sourcing talent and negotiating with them. Just from a creative strategist perspective, I prefer the second option where we have like a team where that's their expertise and they know like best practices and like what creators expect and negotiations and stuff. So I prefer that. But I've definitely been on both sides where like on a much smaller team, I've had to like work directly with talent. So yeah.
Cool. And then Viti, any additional thoughts there to add, or similar story?
I didn't get I was just looking at the chat. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
If you're so all of you are at larger companies who have the resources to basically allocate and say like, hey, go activate our customers, go activate creators. and there's a process around it. I'm thinking about the brands who are smaller, and then there's this creative strategist role. Should it fall to them to be the ones who are ultimately like performing the creator management on top of determining what to make?
I think that it's right now, for example, we are just working on a persona kind of development with a sheet, and we are trying to reach out as many personas as we can for our ads. And maybe, in the short future, it's something that will be more and more in brands. Because if you find or at least what's happening for us, if you find like a talent or someone who is like moving your needle, maybe you will try like more things with them. So I believe that it's a common or future direction.
Cool. Next thing I want to talk about is volume, y'all. So the question that I picked up here is from Jose. It's specifically for VT, but I think we can like literally extrapolate to volume in general. So this one says, what are you doing to create 2,000 ads a month? I know you mentioned a machine, but assuming that's a team. So the parts of this question are twofold to me. The first, which is going to be for everybody, is like, how are you thinking about volume goals? Like, how do you ultimately set those? And then second one being the execution here. So VT, you can kick off since this one is pushed to you.
Yes, I would like to know as well how we do to make so many ads a month. Honestly, we have like many products, like it's not just for one product. We have many products. We have products for bloating, for hormonal support. We have for cellulite. And we need them because we need to push some of them. I mean, from those 2,000 a month, I would say that there are 500 a week. So they are like 100 unique concepts per week. I think that the best thing is to trust on the others. And I know that the designer, if I'm briefing something, I know that the designer is going to be a superstar, that it's going to perform a great ad. And I don't need to, to make some directions. Same for the editors, same for copywriters. Everyone is doing a great job. So you need only to brief, to make the scripts, and then probably the rest of your team is just upgrading your ad, and then you move things forward. Sometimes it happens to me that we're just in the weekly meeting and I'm seeing an ad that I didn't know it exists, because maybe another strategist put it over and it just went live and whatever. But we all trust each other in our team, and we know that they're all superstars. And we split our briefs between the creative strategies, and we just move forward. And I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah, it's
how many people are on your team across like designers, creative strategists?
Yes, we are 4 creative strategists right now. We're looking for a 5th, so maybe I will post for a job search soon. Then we are like we have 2 internal graphic designers. I would say that 3-4 freelancers, and then we have like same for video editors, 2 video editors and 3-4 like freelancers. So we are 15 people more or less.
Still nuts. Across the 4 creative strategists, if it's 500 ads a week, it's like each person is responsible for 125. So crazy.
Yeah, I think that the best thing we have is that we don't get too much inside details. We just gather everything like in general. And when you are just moving forward that brief, the details will add in a different stage. The editor will add the details, the copywriter is adding a detail, and then the ad, it will be good. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but yes, that's the way if you think it, we are 4 creative strategies, we are between 20 and 30 ads, unique ads per week each, and it's like having like 7-8 per day. I don't know. I don't see like a big deal right now, but maybe it's just me that I'm used to do this for a while.
Nice. Sophia, on your end, how are you typically thinking about volume? Well, again, setting the target and then meeting the target.
Yeah, so most of the time, especially if we're like onboarding a new client and are deciding like, okay, how many ads do we want to make in a first or second batch for them, most of the time we meet with like our media and insights team to help form a recommendation. So especially with Andromeda, like the volume has to be higher. So most of the time we're like, okay, let's make like 20 to 30 assets that we can test in a first batch, get some initial signals, and then base following batches after like initial learnings that we got. So then I have like a slightly bigger team, I would say. So I work with like a creative producer on each of my clients who like would submit footage requests, who would also write their own briefs. And then we have like lead editors, more junior editors, and then we have like graphic designers. So we have like a pretty big team that can actually execute on the concepts, but we just align up front on like expectations. Like, okay, is it realistic to have 20 unique concepts go live by the end of the week? And if it isn't, then we just like reset expectations from there. But yeah, we most of the time just start with a recommendation from the media buying team on like number of volume, and then we try and hit that number.
Huge. And then Janae, on your end, any additional pieces to add?
I would say don't be afraid to expand your team to where you're at. So maybe you go like the VA route and have some VA support. Maybe you go the agency route. Maybe you finally have the budget to hire an in-house team. So like each brand and each person is unique. And so it's not like one size fits all. So I've worked on both teams that done that. So we're trying to build out currently our internal team. That's probably like most unique about Caraway, is that we're doing all this in-house. And we just got Ye, our newest in-house growth editor. And so making sure too, like, as I'm not sure how it is at Sophia and Viti, but just because you have like a brand video editor or a brand designer doesn't mean that that person necessarily like knows the performance creative or growth creative editing style. So that's something that, you know, leadership may or may not have buy-in off the bat. And so it really depends like what's their overall vision of the company and like what are your resources, and finding ways to. I saw some people in the chat that said like, I'm the UGC creator, I'm writing the briefs. Like some people are, you know, doing everything from all different facets and wearing many different hats. So just be scrappy and like don't get discouraged, because there's lots and lots of resources out there that you can do that if you don't have a team yet, that you can use to your advantage.
Love it. Yeah. Everybody, I think one of the things that's also helpful is just like operating within your constraints. Like we know we need volume, but also what is possible to be able to make it happen. And you've heard 3 different versions of volume here, of working within like what the client needs as well as what your team needs. So I think everyone can adopt this to whatever their setup might be. And then like Janae just said, build out the team slowly with freelancers or offshore work, whoever it might be, to be able to help with this process. Another question that I want to pull up here. This one came up during Sophia's session. Just Crystal asks, what have you found is the most effective, consistent scaling strategy under Andromeda? So if there's like a quick win to visual refresh, talent refresh. So Sophia, since this one's targeted to you, maybe you could pick it up first.
Yeah, so I think it goes back to that like low-hanging fruit first and then going into more of an expansion phase later. So low-hanging fruit being like footage refreshes. Like if you already have some footage library that you're starting to build, just even replacing like some product shots, just replacing some B-roll shots, getting new footage in there to refresh. Those are a lot of times are really easy wins if you know the original script already works. I would say talent refresh is like most of the time an easy win, but it does require like a larger investment and time, because you know you're having to get a creator or a talent to shoot that, so it is going to take more time. And in an ideal world, iterations are like very quick, and you want them to be in the account while they're still relevant. So yeah, I would say like footage refreshes. And then the other thing I brought up was like things as simple as like changing the length of an ad. So testing like short form versus long form, or testing like the order of the value props, just so you want to make the ad like different enough for Andromeda to think of it as a different ad, but not having to do like a ton of huge changes. So yeah, there's just like a couple options, but I wouldn't say there's like one thing that I go to every single time. Like it used before pre-Andromeda, it used to be like, okay, I'm just going to change the hook into like 5 new hooks and I'm going to get a new winner. Now it's definitely like, okay, I think first thing I do is like footage refresh just with our existing footage library. And I'm like, okay, get the same script out with new footage. And that's one of the like first steps I go to.
Huge. Janae, any tips on your end here, or is it a retweet of what Sophia had mentioned?
I feel like this is such a huge topic. Like we could be talking about this an entire session because it's really completely changed how we do all of our creative. So for me, I'm going to use some like jargon here, but it's kind of going from like softer brand style ads and kind of just making everything look beautiful and polished. And now it's going to a bit more edgy, in your face, like immediate problem solution, immediate hooks across all ads. So before that might have just translated to like UGC, but now this is even in statics. This is in GIFs. We're kind of doing more explicit editing style, explicit statics to cut through the noise here and be a little less 2019 and beautiful and on Instagram. I also think what Viti said about personas and like what I was alluding to, how are we, the way we're talking to a new parent and it's her first child versus someone that already has a kid and is expecting again, that's a completely different brief. They already have kids versus if there's their first one, I need to be speaking to them completely differently. And I feel like if Andromeda is serving, the visual was so great because before it was like 15 different ads. Now that's getting shrunk down 5. And so because it's getting shrunk down, each one needs to be completely unique and specific and have like this ultra niche in order to hit the audience. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time like creating these ads that all look the same. So for me, it's really narrowed down the quality over quantity and just make the least amount of ads as possible and the most different as possible. So my testing has gone down to like maybe 5 in a batch. It's going like each one is super unique and speaking to a very different, whether that's like a stat right at the top or like still feeling blank right at the top or a person's face or maybe the product's not in it or maybe it's an e-com or maybe it's a lifestyle. Like everything has to be totally, totally different now. I'm geeked.
It's insane. It's insane. I was going to ask, how do you balance the volume demands on top of trying to be super specific to product persona, SKU, whatever it might be?
The volume demands of the channel or?
Yeah. So you had mentioned how it's like in a batch, it might be like 5 new assets rather than what used to be if you could just like swap out the hook, like a lot more. So in this world of like, we need to achieve volume, having to define what that means for the brand is important. But for you, how are you thinking about like that balance between, okay, just getting the volume out there versus like what sounds like craft of what you're describing? So how do you balance that?
Each brand is going to be different, but because we have such like a large base of content, like we're at a leg up a bit than I think if you were just starting, because we already have so much content that's like in the engine coming. But for the specific like Andromeda creative testing is how I'm viewing it, I would go like super low quantity here and just like hone in on what style works for you and your brand.
Huge. Viti, on your end, back to the question.
I totally agree with Janae. I think that in fact, I was thinking that we used to do more ads, you know, like we were like 120, 130 unique concepts a week, and now we are lowering to 80 and 90 probably, and that's because we are trying to focus a little bit more on quality. And regarding this, I think that something that Sophia mentioned before, and it's super important. I think that in some way, all your ads needs to look unique, you know, like they don't need to look like iterations anymore. They need to be like unique ads, and they are all competing through themselves. So if you find that way, you probably find more winners than the old way. And yeah, we are trying to you know, not to make small swings at all. Like the small swings that we do, it's only when there's something almost there and we need just a little bit of push or something. But if we need to find out of a new concept or something completely new, it also depends on the stage you are. You know, we used to when the company is healthy, we used to do more iterations than new concepts because we don't need to find out what's going to work. Right now, we are just trying to develop in a little bit more of new concepts and keep the iterations on the angles that keep working. But we are struggling a little bit with finding new winners. So we are just pulling more and more on new concepts.
The balance, always back and forth. We have time for a couple more questions, everybody. So get those votes in, get those questions in. The next one I'm going to pull up is from Kate. So shout out to Kate. Kate's coming up here at some point. But Sophia, I'm going to throw this to you first. Do you like to set up account/campaigns in different ways to avoid legacy ads cannibalizing the ad spend?
Yeah, and this is where I say, like, I work with a team of media buyers that really know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. Like, they tell me, hey, this is the recommendation, this is how we're setting up the account. And I'm like, sounds good. Like, let me know how many ads you want, what's your recommendation? And like, we work super closely in that way. So I have less recommendations when it comes to like account setup and things like that. At every agency I've worked at, it's been mostly the same way where like the media buyer really takes ownership over that. So I definitely have less experience on like account campaign setup in order to avoid like legacy ads taking over all of the spend. But I can just speak to like creative diversity is the thing that's getting rewarded. So like constantly refreshing ads, making sure your ads are super diverse is a way to try and avoid like one ad taking over all of the spend in an account. But yeah, that's just like my experience. I work with media buyers that handle that. So yeah.
Love it. Janae, Viti, anything on your ends here? Like similar experience or different opinion here?
Do you want to jump in, Janae?
I could just add, I feel like simpler ad account structure is kind of where we're at. So instead of splitting campaigns into a lot of more narrow ad sets, I think that's kind of working against us, and like broader setups, letting the algo do its thing. Consolidated budgets is really giving Meta room to find like the most efficient conversion. So we've gone pretty broad now.
Yeah, I will say that similar as Sophia. I'm not so into campaign setting. I know that we are making like a lot of changes right now, and that we are trying different setups. But I don't know which kind of. So we are keep trying on creative diversity as well, and we are keep trying on not only angles, so also on the format. You know, we're trying to find out which is the hot format right now, and from there.
Cool.
I feel like another thing too is faster creative refreshes, like in terms of volume. So it's getting better at matching creative. So like the fatigue just shows up faster too. So like in terms of what to prioritize on my end, like I kind of have to hit the ground running. If I see something working, I'm like, ooh, maybe before I could have given it 2 weeks, 14 business days. And now I only have like 7 business days to get these new ones running. And and the way I like relieve some of the pressure is like, let's just make 2 or 3. Let's just kind of keep it like manageable refreshes here.
I love it. Yeah, I think anyone who is here on the media buying side, like you'll have the strongest opinions, but there's always talk about like duplicating ad sets or running multiple campaigns and structuring it that way. Specifically on the creative strategy side, I know when we're talking to our creative strategy team internally, it's being super clear on like what we want to learn, because then the media buyer can specifically go help get that answer. So it might just be what's going to get the most spend, which allows for the broadest setup possible. Or it might be even more specific to like, I want to learn this specific thing. I have so much confidence in this ad. Like my conviction is through the roof. So making sure that you get that learning is so important. So I think it just depends on your team structure for everybody. But last question for you all. I think the route that I want to go here is more like, what can people expect from their jobs of creative strategists? So Is that the right question that I pulled up? It's not. I'm sorry, everybody. It's from Jessica. Jessica asks, how do you make briefs at scale? So we've talked a lot about the creative demand that's required and then the briefs that accompany that. So what I'm actually curious about is like when we think about the creative strategy process, it breaks down into like 4 or 5 buckets, in my opinion. There's like research, there's like the concepting, there's the briefing, the QA, and then the analysis after the fact. And I've seen a lot of questions about briefing, but I'm curious with you three, where do you actually spend most of your time in those buckets of research, concepting, briefing, QA, and analysis? If someone wants to kick us off, I know I've been picking on people, but if someone wants to kick us off with their opinion of where they're spending the most time, that'd be great.
I can jump in. I think it depends on what stage I'm at with a client. So if I'm onboarding a new client, I'm spending like a majority of my time in the research phase, like making myself super familiar with like who we're going to be targeting, what are their hero products, what are people saying about this type of product or like pain points, things like that. So onboarding phase, I'm like really heavy into research, and then probably briefing comes after that, where I'm like, okay, say like I've had some recent clients where they have like no ads in the account. So we have no historical data to work with. So then it's like, okay, if I know that I need to produce 30 assets just to give them a library to work with and to like start getting signals, then yeah, most of my time is going to be spent briefing and just like getting ads into the account ASAP. But it definitely just depends like where I'm at with a client. If it's really early on, then I'm like making sure I'm super familiar with everything I need to know about the client and their audience. If it's like a client that I've been working on for years and, you know, we have a ton of historical learnings, then it's more so probably the analysis phase that I'm spending a lot of time, where I'm like, okay, I'm spending a lot of time in motion, for instance, just looking every day at like, okay, what performed the last 7 days, to see if there are any quick iterations we can make. But yeah, earlier in the process when we're like onboarding a client, it's definitely the more onboarding or the more research and briefing focused for sure.
Makes so much sense.
I can go, I guess, the brand rep here. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on the season. Like BFCM, I'm going to be heavy on QA. Like I'm just going to be heads down on approvals and just like, okay, approve, fix this. Like I need to get everything out the door. So I'm a bit more in like that execution phase. But then let's say we're in September, right? And I'm planning for Q4 or even earlier than that, like August, I think is when I'm doing my planning now for BFCM. Don't remind me. So that is going to be a lot of ideation, a lot of research, a lot of planning. So I think it depends on the year and like your own brand's seasonality. And ultimately, it's always going to come down to like BFCM. Like that's going to be like a huge part of my year. And then we like at Caraway, we have significant like times of the year we big brand push. March is a big one for us. So that's going to be another big one. If we have a hero product launching, like we just launched our trash can. So that's a huge one where I like really hone on that particular launch.
Oh, this is a huge one. I was thinking that I'm always doing research like 24/7. You know, if you see my social media channels, they are all about brands. It's nothing about me. It's like fake. And I was recently testing like this is a tip. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I just make I don't know if I can say that, but I made a couple of fake accounts with personas that will, you know, like my mother. I gathered my mother image and I just made some profiles, and I just started to like a lot of brands and trying to receive, you know, all the feed and from brands and like trying to mess with the algorithm. So I think that I'm 24/7, you know, like receiving inputs and references and things from other brands and again, it depends for us on the product. If we are launching a new product, it will be more on the Q&A or research, or, you know, because we don't know what's happening there. But for products that are like 4-5 years live, we have like tons and huge things. I personally like to speed up the process on the briefing. We have like a setup of a kind of form where we just feel like in a, I don't know, filling papers and papers, and it's just like making some clues. We have there what reference you need, something that is easy also for the people, for the editor or the graphic designer. When it grabs, it's just the same format, and you don't need to think much or decode what's happening there. So that speeds up things a lot. But yeah, I think that if you are working as a creative strategist, you are always, seeing connections again and gathering information from everywhere, friends, family, mother, whatever.
These are the real answers, everybody. These three could have answered with like, yep, spend all my time briefing. Yep, spend all my time doing research. But you see how it's real, and it's rooted in working with clients, working at the brand, and the time of the year, and the product, and everything in between. This has been incredible. You three, you see our community. They're so engaged. They love this. You guys got to check out the questions after, because we definitely didn't get to them. But I'm wondering if each of you have any final last words to leave with our audience. Sophia, maybe you started the presentation. You can bring us home first here.
Oh, interesting. Final words. Pressure. Yeah, I mean, I think I just saw a thing, somebody in the chat saying like, yeah, foundations are important, but no one size fits all for this position. And I totally agree. I think like my job looked different at CTC, it looked different at TwoScience, and it looked different at ReadySet. And we found success in all of those situations. So I definitely don't think like you need our exact setup to find success as a creative strategist. Definitely just like being willing to like work from the ground up. Like I started as a junior creative strategist, learned a lot from other like senior level people, and then sort of worked my way up. So just being willing to do that and then learn and just be like as adaptable as you can, because algorithms are always changing. Everything's always changing how like we perceive data and performance. So being open to change is super important in this role. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Love it. Viti, on your end, any final last words to leave with the audience?
Well, I hope that you enjoy this session. I really like it as well to be here with you, and for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Regarding me, I think that yeah, it's all on again. If you go on the presentation, I think it is really on how fast, big, and many connections that you can do. And you're always getting inputs from everywhere, and you never know which kind of combinations you're gonna make. So just trust your gut, move forward, make some ads, and let's test them. You never know what's gonna work there.
Janae, bring us home.
The pressure. Okay. I would say just always, it doesn't matter like where you started, I guess. Like if I get so fired up in these chats and kind of just being in this community, hearing from people that are in all stages of creative strategy. So I guess my note would be to the people that were just starting out, like keep feeding that fire. Like motion is such a great source. It was really like crucial to me when I first started out. And I think the more that you learn and invest in yourself and learning all of these new things are actually very tangible. So you're not wasting your time kind of learning and figuring out what's out there. I love what Sophia said about being adaptable. I think it's huge. In big swings, like definitely go out and look for some of the maybe things that are more out there. Always continue to connect with people and see maybe where they can help you further out in your career. And like, just to wrap it up, like creative is definitely always going to be the new targeting. So remember that like your hooks are always going to be your signals to Meta, and that you really have to have those like clear value props, like simplify as much as possible. That copy both in the creative itself and on the ads itself is really like working together, and just be intentional with everything that you do. Try not to be so repetitive, and be really intentional. And I think that's how you'll find success. And this has been such a cool opportunity. Thanks, everyone.
Show some love in the chat, everybody. Blow up the chat. Blow up the chat for these three.